Okay, so I'm working now with the two templates that I downloaded from the two separate websites that I looked into, or had to make the nav bar your own. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and enlist the help of Dreamweaver, because that's what we've been using. And I am going to go ahead and go to the site, new site, and then define the site as we've done over and over and over. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back to my portfolio A. And to do that, I just went back down to here to this button where it says File, select Portfolio A, and that takes me to that site. I'm going to open Index, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and change the words. So according to your assignment, you need to have a certain number of tabs or links or places or sections to use. So in here, I'm not going to have a blog. I'm going to go ahead and type in only the things that I'm assuming that I'm going to include in my portfolio. I do want to keep the word home, but I don't have a blog, so I'm going to go ahead and type in portfolio or works. Instead of calling it portfolio, I will go ahead and use the word works. Okay, so as you saw, I can literally take the word and then change the word, or I can click on the nav bar and click where it says split. What that will allow me to do is to see part of the code involved on the navigation bar. Especially if I highlight it, you'll see exactly how it looks like on the code. We need to go to the code because your code has special code that you need to change that in Dreamweaver, at least this version, doesn't allow you to change that easy without knowing a little bit about the code. So I'm going to go ahead and change these right now, just the wording, and then I'll continue explaining the piece that you need to know so that this works all the time. Okay, I decided to have an area for resume, works, and contacts. So I don't need these two links right here. I am selecting them, and you note that they're also selected on this portion. So I am going to go ahead and just simply highlight them and delete them. The next part is I'm going to go ahead and hit return here so you can see the home also. So I have home, resume, works, and contacts. So if you look at the navigation bar, it'll have those words. But there is a rollover effect going on here. So let me go ahead and save what I got and preview it. Go to File, Preview in Browser, choose your Firefox or whatever browser you're using. So now you can see that although I have the rollover, this home has this color. When I create a page for resume, I want the resume to have this color. I want works to have this color. I want contact to have this color, but not home, resume, and works. So depending on what page you're looking at, I want it to be lit. Before we start creating pages though, we need to go ahead and change the navigation to wherever it is that we want to go. So for instance, home is always going to go to index.html. Resume is going to go resume.html. Works might be going to portfolio or works. Since I call it works, I'll just be consistent and type it works.html, and then the contact page. Now that I've added places for these to go, now I can save and start adding new pages based on my navigation bar. Let me go ahead and show you how to do two of them. I'm going to go to File, Save As. I already saved it, remember, okay? I'm doing another save. I'm going to save this as resume. And then press Save. The next step is going to be to make sure that when resume is selected that this color is on top of resume. So for that, I'm going to click on the word resume, and I notice the code that I was talking about earlier. I'm going to cut it, Control X, and then go to the next LI, which stands for list item, and paste, and then I'm going to save it again. So what that will do, it would put this color on resume now versus the home. And I'm going to repeat this 2 more times. I'm going to go ahead and save, and then save as, and then I call it works, so works.html, and save. That creates the works document. Now I want the word works to be the current page item. So I go back over here, cut that portion, come into list item, paste that portion, then save. Now when I click on works, that's what you will be able to see as highlighted. One more time. File, save as. This is going to be contact. Save. I look at the word contact. I clicked on it. Then right above there it says space class equals current page item. I cut it. Then I go back to the one that has a contact, add a space, and paste it, and save. And now when I click on contact, you will be seeing in that color. How does all this look like when it's done? Well, I go back to index, and then I click on file, preview in browser, select Firefox, and now when I click on resume, it goes to the resume.html file, and this changes color. When I click on works, it goes to the works document, and it changes color. Contact, ditto, and we'll go back to home, then home stays there. Now it's a matter of editing the content and adding my own content. Okay, so we did this one. Now let's go ahead and do the other one. I'm going to go ahead and close all these documents at the top. Then I am going to go ahead and switch to that website that I'm working on. So I go here to this region and select files and select portfolio B. Once I am in portfolio 2, double click on index. Then I'm going to scroll to the nav bar and I'm going to make some changes. The first change I'm going to make is here where it says home. So I'm just going to click on home and I scroll down so you can see all the navigation bar on the left hand side. Home stays as home. Services will change to nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because I don't offer any services here on this specific page. Now since I removed that section, the other section will remain and I will need to delete it later on. Okay, so here instead of our works, I'm going to go ahead and type my works, and then about us changes to about me. Then also the area that says styles, I don't have any styles, so I'm going to go ahead and remove styles, and contact us becomes contact me. So I removed some links that I wanted and I changed the name of others. Please note also that instead of having an actual link to an HTML document, here it has an anchor, which is a section on the bottom of the page that allows you to navigate from the top menu towards the bottom. So right here it says main, portfolio, about us, contact. So these will take me to different places on the document at the bottom. So let me go ahead and save that and then show you how it looks like. File, preview, in browser, Firefox. So now you can see that I have only these words. When I click home, it takes me home. When I click my works, it skips a whole bunch of sections, takes me there, about me, and then contact me. But there are some sections that still remain in here which I might want to get rid of or use or rename. That's for another section. That's how simple it is to change the navigation bars on both templates. One was a little fancier than the other because it had this rollover effect and it required us actually to create HTML documents. The other one, it was just a matter of changing the words since it's one big long document with sections. I'll show you next how do you add content and remove sections or add sections.